Boy, life's funny sometimes, isn't it? I mean, in how things turn out, you know? I mean, it could be something that's just downright pisses you off, but at the same time, you just gotta laugh. So, of course, over at DC Studios, formerly DC Films, that was in charge of, everything DC related on TV and movies. But most notably the DCEU, sometimes known as Snyderverse. Well, they got a new boss. Zaslav, of course, but James Gunn came in to take over, and one of the first things he got around to was, yeah, we're not going to go with Henry Cavill as Superman. So everybody was upset, me included, and just, damn, that's rotten. And he's going to find a new Superman for a new movie and all that. And then it became apparent that Cavill would not be alone, and it looks like Ben Affleck is out as Batman, and even Gal Gadot, whom everyone loved, even though her second film was terrible. But no one holds her accountable for that. I guess she's not wonderful anymore for WB, and won't be Wonder Woman. So it's like, oh boy, the whole cast is done. You got to move on. With someone new that they find. I mean, at the outset, you would have thought they're going to recast some people, like Amber Turd and Ezra Miller, because of all the troubles he's been in. I mean, good Lord, robbery and attacking women and getting weird with underage girls. So, things like that, you would think, oh yeah, those two, done. But you'd be wrong. No, Henry Cavill was first on the list. So what about Ezra Miller and his Flash movie? Is there really a point left to it anymore, since the DCEU no longer really exists? And I mean, I thought, hey, maybe stars like Henry Cavill's too expensive, he's in a higher bracket of pay for future appearances as Superman and all that. And they just say, hey, it'd be cheaper with an unknown actor. And that's the sort of thing I could understand and even respect, even though it's not what I wanted, but I can understand if they're in that situation, Then all of a sudden, here comes this little tidbit about the Flash movie. It's going to get a Super Bowl commercial. Well, that's not just any commercial slot. It's the commercial slot. And some estimate it could be $10 million worth for about a minute, for the Flash. So, still starring Ezra. Yeah, you still get Ezra. You don't get Henry. I mean, probably not Gal Gadot, although she may be in this one still. But so was Henry. But they said they're going to cut him out and probably cut most of her out too. You don't get Dwayne Johnson anymore either. No, and of course no Ben Affleck. Well, Ben Affleck will be in this one, but that'll probably be the last time you see him. Yeah, maybe the last time you see Ezra too, but you're going to get a whole lot of Ezra. And they want you to get some more Ezra, so much so that they want to spend $10 million on a Super Bowl commercial to come out right before Ant-Man, in competition with that, I guess. And high hopes for this one. Now, to be fair, the movie has always, all the rumors and whatnot, people describing the test screenings, and it's always positive. Other films, not so much. Now, Black Adam apparently didn't test very well, and it's not that great of a film. But I enjoyed it. It's fun. It's actually some simple tweaks here and there would probably make it better. But it's an uphill battle for a character no one really knows. That kind of thing. But I've seen far worse than that. But, it suffered. Aquaman is said to not be all that great in testing. There's some positives, but for the most part, people don't like it. But they didn't get rid of Amber Turd. So you still got her to look forward to, and Ezra. So some comparisons that they like about it is that it's being compared to Spider-Man No Way Home, which made $2 billion. And, well, what are the odds that The Flash could make that? Well, I don't know. I mean, the nostalgia factor for Spider-Man was the previous Spider-Man to show up, and everybody was excited about that. And for The Flash, well, you got Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, and they were going to exploit that across the board and get him a Batman Beyond movie, which I always wondered if they would do. It turns out they were going to, but it's been scrapped. And then, of course, Batgirl got scrapped. But not this. And but is that enough of nostalgia for Michael Keaton's Batman to draw them in? Well, perhaps that's the gamble. One theory is that you put that in front of the Super Bowl audience, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Michael Keaton's back," and they'll go see the movie. That might have more of a better box office performance for the film. And I suppose there's some thinking, reason to have that type of thinking for it, but I don't know how much more of a boost it would do for a film, especially what if Ezra does something else, it comes out in June. That's still a ways away, so yeah, what about Ezra Miller? I mean, have they locked him down to keep him from doing anything? I don't know, but it's also, I suppose, possible, because James Gunn has said he's been making notes on these films that are coming out, and there have been reshoots for all of them, and these are the leftover films, and Black Adam counts as like the first one we saw. And so now you got Shazam, you got The Flash, you've got Blue Beetle, and then Aquaman. And then that's that. It's on to the new era of DCU under James Gunn and Zaslav and Safran and all that. So since they are going to a new rebooted universe with perhaps some characters returning, and I was thinking like, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. And, of course, John Cena continuing as Peacemaker because, well, that's James Gunn's project. Season 2, he'll still be Peacemaker. But for a Suicide Squad film, could be all new other villains and stuff. That's the nature of the story, so it really wouldn't matter too much. But could The Flash still be utilized as the vehicle to introduce a rebooted universe, which was the original plan? And of course they were going to have Supergirl take the place of Superman and Batgirl take the place of Batman. It's a dumb idea, but that's what they were headed for. Then it sounded like they were switching things around, and with Henry Cavill making an appearance and all of that, that they were going to go ahead and go back to the original cast at the end. But perhaps, which would have been really cool if they'd have kept Supergirl, and then they could have had a Henry Cavill and Supergirl movie at some point. I think that would have been really good. And Henry Cavill kind of becomes his father figure to her and stuff like that. That would have been really good. You could take advantage of his age in that point, in that aspect. But no, not going to do that. But was there time to reshoot it to a point that it does leave a doorway to whatever vision James Gunn is wanting to craft, and will his notes create that? And I mean, June is still a ways away. Could they have cast a new Superman in time to make a brief cameo at the end of the movie after the Flash has changed time and all that stuff, which was the result of the original one? I guess it'll be different now with no Michael Keaton Batman hanging around anymore, I assume. And apparently Ben Affleck shot some scenes for Aquaman and to replace Michael Keaton's scenes, but now those are going to be taken out. So you would have to cast both Superman and Batman, at least, for this film, for Barry to see, oh, things are still different, And but oh boy, is that really rushing it out there? either that, or then it's back to you would have these guys in the outfits, but you never really see their faces. Something stupid like that. And that's the problem. The overall deal of these screen tests about whatever the original form this film was in, people seem to like. With all this shenanigans going on, probably deteriorates it and waters it down to the point that it's not its original self. And there's some good moments in it and stuff, but the ultimate end of it goes rather flat because they can't go back to the DCEU. They can't go to the Hamadaverse. And so now they're going to the Gunverse, but there's no one in it yet. Hadn't had time to, cast anybody unless they do, like I said, and slip them in there as fast as possible. I suppose if you had the body doubles to stand there, and then later when they've cast somebody, they CGI their faces over those people. Maybe that'll work. But it's probably just there's so much money invested in it that they're willing to shell out $10 million in the hopes that Super Bowl fans will, hey, look at that, Michael Keaton Batman again. I'm going to go see that movie. And maybe that'll get a few more coins, in the overall scheme. Rather doubt it, but, I suppose that's the thinking. But it's like, because, again, I always assumed that the business with Cavill was that he was too costly. But this. So anyway, yeah, life is funny, isn't it? Oh, it's hilarious.